and soils tonight. We are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Rabbit Hole here on Joe Slick Live. And we are live, baby, on September 14th, 2024. And let's see here. I'll stop this when it happens. All right, turn that to that. And yeah, let me get this thing going for you. Share this end and share this one, saying this one, and there we go. Loading. All right, here we go. Hi, I'm Joe of the Joe Slick Live Show. My interactive live show is on twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live. Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and occasionally in the evenings at 7. During the live show, I review and talk about reports from government, private, and other reporting agencies and websites regarding celestial and terrestrial phenomena. Topics will include solar flares, sunspots, geomatic storms, and near-Earth asteroids and comets that are being monitored around the world. Included in the report is current events in the last 12 to 24 hours here on Earth, consisting of volcanic, seismic, and weather events. I close the morning report off with what's happening in the local and world news. Thank you, and you can be a part of the morning report by going to twitch.tv/Joe Slick Live. Look forward to seeing you there, and remember, don't get none on you. And make sure you like and share, subscribe. That helps me produce these things. So thank you, everybody. All righty. So, rabbit, here we go. Let's see. Main, here we go. Well, that is not the main. Well, which one is it? Oh, that ain't it. There it is. Good evening, everybody, over on Twitch. Good evening to Tim. Good evening, Walleye King. Of course, you're here with me, buddy. Susan, good evening. Robin's Nest. Good evening, Robin's Nest. Quake Cat in the UT. Good evening. Vampy. Good evening. One Eden. Eden's in the house. Good evening. New Brunswick kind of guy. He's online with me here on the show. Just Simply Sue. She's back. I love to see her there. And Flutter Girl. And good to see you, girl. And Mr. Dub Diesel. Yeah, he's here with us too. All the other ones you don't want to be talked about, so I'm not going to mention you. But don't worry about it. I see you. My app shows all of you. But I'm not going to out you because I know, you know, if you come here, then you're a traitor to, you know who, whatever. And I don't even think he's around anymore. I don't know what that guy's doing. But anywho, next door is Folded Up Shop. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rabbit Hole for September 14th, 2024. We were in the middle of a minor report, just saying we had an X 4.5 today. And we also had a class, part 2, and also replayed the part 1 of the subduction zone with a geochronologist, Mike Eddy. Really good stuff. However, they're all stuck in Canada 50 million years ago. They're not even talking about anything in Washington, Idaho, Oregon, Utah. Everything is north. So something happened between 1,000 or a million and, is it a million? No, it's 100 million years ago and 50 million years ago. And they're still trying to figure it out because Mike Eddy's talking about something north of it. And that was on the show this morning. Was it the afternoon? I don't remember. But today we are going to talk about something of interest to me, and that is offshore Los Angeles. And where else we go? Seems things happen on rabbit hole nights. I don't know. I think last rabbit hole on Wednesday I had to cancel due to things, extenuating circumstances, and here we are tonight. Welcome everybody. A big title shift, he says, huh? Oh.
Well, I guess I'd like to start off. 50 million years ago, wasn't the North American continent like a lot closer to the equator?
Good question. I was seeing if Canuck would answer that one.
Now, I would think, but probably not too much.
Say it again, Canuck.
I said it would be farther south than what it is now, but not too much.
Well, where was the Mendocino 50 million years ago?
Well, it had to be down lower, but of course North America was too, because that's when it was crashing into it, right?
Right.
So that's when Silesia was coming in.
So our dilemma is always about one thing, trying to figure out where the plates were. So a geochronologist like Mike Eddy is right up our alley. Really intelligent young man, and humble too. He's humble, and I enjoy his breakthroughs and stuff. What he's talking about.
Well, and he said there was two other things happening around 50 to 55. India was crashing into Asia, and he said something in the North Atlantic, so I don't know what he was referring to. I don't know if he means Greenland and Baffin Bay or what. He never really said.
I thought he said the other side of Baffin, the other side of Greenland, in the mid-Atlantic or in the Atlantic.
Well, that would have been because I think they say Iceland is only
Svalbard,
52 or 50, I think, as well. So I don't know. But I forget when Greenland and Baffin Bay tried to rift.
I think that's what he's referring to, is that rifting.
Yeah, so I don't know which one he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he said something 50-55, and he said North Atlantic, but I don't know which one he was talking about.
Well, yeah, the file I got on screen here that I'm sharing with the other people. Let me share it with where is it? Where the hell is it? Oh, Miller. There we go. And make sure they see it. Show on stream. There you go. That's the wrong one. Right there. This is the one I'm referring to. Zooming in, you could see the Yucatec, Silesia right here, the Farallon. Somewhere in here, they're talking about Yucatec, which is way up the coast, being part of the Kula or the Resurrection Plate, and Silesia being part of the Farallon, or what's left of the Farallon. I don't know, man. The slab window is, and another image shows, and there's the rollback, right? It's all happening. Washington, And all this region here is Washington and BC. The Coast Mountains, batholith moving in, Swak. So let's say Yakutat goes north. Near trench, magnetism happens. This is all in 51. And then 48, it's all done. So let's see, it's already accreted. Washington, you can see here's the border of Washington. And border of Washington is, so let's see, here's Oregon and here's Cali. Yakutat goes north, so let's say it comes in. Vancouver Island is right here, part of all those islands that came in. I'm not sure they got it all right, but they got a bunch of dates on rocks that are 50 million years and younger.
Yeah, so Baffin Bay Rift is 56. So that's what he was talking about.
Okay, that's what he's talking about, Baffin Bay.
Yeah.
There's a rift, a failed rift up there, he mentioned real quick. So,
and he was talking about how that changed how the plates were moving. That's what he was talking about. That's what he was trying to say.
He mentioned Kamchatka, India. He mentioned PNG. He mentioned the Marianas. All of those things started 50 million years ago. So something happened in the world 15 million years ago.
Yeah, because he was trying to explain why it switched from north-south plate movement to northwest to southeast, right, for the Pacific plate. That's what he was trying to explain.
Right, and then the crashing of all this stuff and how everything changed, the Emperor's chain seamount, the Emperor seamount and the Hawaiian chain, all that changed,
But what's funny is the big impact crater on Greenland, the biggest one. There's two, big one and a small one. And the big one is 58. So that's pretty interesting.
Well, that could have started it, right?
Well, you're saying that could have changed the plate direction slightly, the way it was traveling.
So I think what he was trying to get to, they never went into it in super detail, is that for some reason North America started going more southwest around that same time because of the Baffin Bay rifting instead of west.
Okay.
Yeah, Baffin Bay is here on the west side of Greenland.
Because he mentioned two things. India, I'm not sure what India would have to do with that, but
he said India. That's when it hit Eurasia.
Yeah, and he talked about
years ago.
Yeah, he talked about there's two different plates, oceanic plates, that subducted when India crashed into, which I have no idea what they were. I never heard.
Yeah,
that before, so.
he didn't say what they were, but he did say that, and I'll show you.
Yeah, I imagine he's reading all the new studies on everything. That's probably.
Oh yeah. Okay, share on screen.
And didn't he say that he knows somebody that worked on or was an advisor to him that worked on the India stuff?
Right.
Did that too. So that's probably how he knows about that.
This is India. This is Eurasia. There's a subducted plate that came down. Two of them before India gets brought up on shore and it lifts up. So there were two subducting plates that went down because what it did is it increased the speed. Out here was like 51. This turned it to 60. This turned it to 70. And when it crashed, it was like going full speed.
Yeah.
That's what he's referring to.
Well, it's going to be crazy tomorrow because Karen is doing her thing.
Right.
So we'll see.
Right. And Karen is not a geochronologist. Karen is a mathematician and geophysicist, but she leans real heavily on one particular guy who's been on with Nick, I believe. And the guy sees it. He's young. The guy sees it his way, and that's okay. He's supporting, his suppositions. So, the base interrange extension started 17 million years ago. Well, that's an interesting year because that's when the supervolcano next to me went off 17 million years ago. I wonder what the hell was going on. It seems like that number and then there's another number 30 million years ago. You know?
It was when all
Wawa.
the other big,
Wawa. Yeah.
all the other big super volcanoes went off.
Yeah. So there's some things going on that we're not really privy to.
So I don't know what those years have to do with all the stuff that we're talking about 50 or whatever. So that's going to have to be all figured out. But there was an impact crater on the East Coast, Chesapeake Bay. I think it was like 35 or something. So that's interesting too. But anyway, that's a whole other.
Yeah. So the question was, where was North America 50 million years ago? At what was it latitude or longitude? Which is the north south? Is that longitude? I'm asking.
Latitude.
I don't know. What's up and down? Longitude?
Well, it was down far enough that the impact crater in Greenland, they found tropical vegetation in the core sample they took. So wherever it was at 58 when the asteroid ran into it, it had tropical.
Well, it would have been close to like where Florida's latitude is now.
Yeah. So it would have had.
I'm looking for it. I don't see it. Also, there was no ice age that time. You're talking about having, like in Canada, has a bunch of tropical stuff. When there's no ice age in your middle of the heat, there's going to be tropics up there, man.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's what they say.
The wobble of the planet, 50 million years ago, probably wasn't at 23 degrees. Maybe it was at 19.
So when that asteroid hit, it was tropical because there's
Hawaii is coming in at a 6.2 right now.
Oh.
Yeah, right in the middle of the volcano.
What, Kilauea or Mauna Loa?
Yeah. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Share. Right here. There you go.
Well, something always happens during the rabbit hole.
5.8, 5.3, being downgraded pretty quick. I know every time something goes off in Hawaii, watch out, West Coast, all the way down to 4.6. It started up high.
What did you say it originally came in at?
I told you, I don't know.
6 point something.
6.1 maybe. All these other signatures are saying pretty good. There's going to be no props over there on dynamic Earth, but it is a good strong one. It's got some really red. So let me show you. Yeah,
you want to show us what deck looks like?
Yeah, I'll show you here. Share this instead. You can see off to the right here. It's pretty strong red.
It kind of looks like it's a multi-banger, real strong, and then kind of goes down and then real strong again.
Right.
From what I'm just seeing here popping up now.
Right. At least 3 bangers in there. I'm seeing.
What is it, right in the caldera or outside the caldera?
It looks like it's in the caldera to me. We have 4.6 now, all the way down from 6.1. So I don't know. Where else would I check? Mm,
Well, it's not on my app yet.
no, it's not hitting California yet. It's brand new. Let's USGS. The Salvadoran was a 4.6. Indonesia on Sumatra had a 5.1 today.
Yeah, I see a 2.1 in the crater, the center of the crater.
Yeah.
An hour ago.
Yeah. I got a warning.
What's that from?
Yeah. Maybe. Well, things happen on Rabbit Hole Night, so please be patient with us. Got lots going on. Let me see what I can see. The Hawaiian HAWAII.
Oh, it just came up on mine. It's saying 4.5, but they
4.5.
have it down closer to. It's outside the crater, going down close to. Well, where all the quakes were before when they thought it was going to erupt back here a few weeks ago. Whatever that.
All right.
Where it was swarming with quakes the last time.
It just seems like there's a lot of red in there for being a 4.5, but it wasn't a very.
Yeah, well, it's close to the signals. They're gonna pop like that. I'm looking at the live crater. It is smoking just a little bit, but not a lot. So.
Well, it might be trying to bust through and erupt in the.
USGS has it 4.5.
Yeah, that's what it says on mine now.
Mm-hmm.
Would we expect a few more quakes like this before it pops through if it's going to? Or would it just split open and start erupting?
Well, if it's on a limit, then we should see something in the Isuzu Islands at the same power. And then out in Kazakhstan, but also we can see it in Valenzuela and then over near the Ascension Islands. But that is if it stays on a limit. I'm not sure that they're connected. The Hawaiian and the El Salvador that both popped at roughly the same power.
Well, usually when it has a really big eruption, it has like a 6, but
yeah. But this is a pretty good little pop. There have been other ones on that spot. Right next to it was a 3.2 today at 16:22 hours. Now they just moved it. They updated and moved it. 4.4 now, USGS, and they're saying it's there you go. There you go. So 4.4, it's not huge, but it's east of the crater Kilauea. I'll show you a map. I'll show you on the map. There you go. Show on the stream. There you go. All right. Here's Kilauea's crater. It happened right here. And this is the second or third one a day. 2.6 yesterday. Today, they had a 3.2 and now a 4.4. But it did come up immediately right away. Looking at it, origins. They've got it as a 4.4. They're not going to share the other stuff with us. Another earthquake just came in, 2.5 right there. So when we see these 1, 2, 3, 4 quakes, bang, 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 bang.
It's probably going to swarm out again.
Yeah, it's doing that, As you can see here, Kilauea Rim right here. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So going to USGS all one day. It's got a couple of quakes in that. Also a little bit, yeah. All right, let me show you this one. This is all today. All right. So this one down here now, Paala, it has a 2.0, and that happened at 1845. This quake here happened at 1925. That's a 4.4. Then there's the 2.5 that happened 1929. Yeah, 19. Right there. There you go. So you know about it now. And the live view of Kilauea, a little smoke right here. I'm not seeing anything else, but maybe we can see that things shake. What time was it when it did it? Maybe the camera shakes, huh? I don't know. Let me see what time it was. It's 20 minutes ago. Right here. 1925. What the hell are we now? 16. All right. Maybe 25. 29. 25. Let's see if it shakes. This is 23. Here's 25. See if the camera shakes a little bit. All right, I'm doing 24 now. You'd think this camera would shake with a 4.4.
You think so?
This is from the USGS, by the way.
Maybe it has shock absorbers on it.
I don't know.
Or you can edit it out.
Yeah.
Maybe it registered with everything and then got to go back a little further. I don't know. Well, that's 20. We're still on 25 right now. There is some shifting of dirt, looks like, coming down the face over here. You know, the rock face coming down here. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what that was.
Yeah, probably. That would make it. Oh.
Yeah, there's some rock face coming down over here. $25, 16, 26. Oh, come on. Too many people looking at it. That's what it is.
Yeah. It's doing the twirly.
Yeah. All right, 1624. There's some steam in this right-hand corner. But it looked like some rock fall happened here on 25. So we're watching the time change right up here. Yeah. Saw something here. $16.24. We're about to turn 25 right now. There's definitely steam on that right-hand side.
Yeah, you can see it there.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a rock fall right here. Rock fall back here too, on the crater rim. Oh yeah, pretty good one too. Yeah, all the way down. Back up in here as well. And over here. So there's evidence of a real quake. You saw it here first, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Back to yeah, 4.6. So whatever. What were we talking about?
We're gonna start with the Malibu.
You got to start with the Malibu, huh? All right.
Yeah, and then work our way in from there.
It's warming up a little bit right now. There's been 1, 2, 3, 4 quakes right after that along the rift. All right. So I don't know if we answer what latitude North America was.
Well, it had to be far enough south at 58 that when the asteroid hit it, it landed on tropical vegetation.
Yeah, I think it created the Mexico's the Bay of Mexico, or the whatever you call it, the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, but this is a different one that hit Greenland.
Right.
Talking about.
I'm talking about the 66 million years. I think it created the big hole, but and blasted everything else out. I think that's what happened. Yeah, I'm not seeing we're 50. 55 to 65. Earth climate was warm relative to today. Polar ice sheets were small. Sea level was very high. Climate in Nebraska was warm and humid, and Rocky Mountains were forming in the western part of North America. That's what was going on in that time period. And it looks like, I don't know if that's, yeah. I don't know what, where the hell was North America 50 million years ago? I want to know that,
Well, you'd have to look at all the plate recreation thingy with jiggies. Now there's so many because there's a new one now too. I just saw here the other day.
Yeah.
So who knows? I don't know who did the new one.
I got a stratigraphic chart. 50 would be in the Eocene, the Cenozoic, with a subset plate, Paleogene, and third subset, Eocene. Yeah, I don't know where the hell it is. I just asked the question and it didn't tell me. What latitude was North America 50 million years ago? Search.
No, because I don't think it knows, because it depends on who's doing the plate recreations.
Right.
So that's probably why it doesn't say.
Let's go Teeth's animation. 70, 150, 100, 80. Yeah, I mean, this is Scotice's here. Hold on, share this instead. Here's 80 million years ago, North America. A couple islands out here. You don't see Siletzi, you don't see Yakutat.
No, because SCOTY stuff is all way out of date. It doesn't have any of the new data in it.
Right.
His is like
70.
I think 2010 and before. So basically, it's pretty much useless now.
Yeah. There is some islands forming out there. There's 60. And the thing already hit. There's the impact right there. And then here's 50 million years. All right. Got several islands off the coast. We do have this, what do you call it, echelon? North America did do that. The border of California and Oregon, the Klamath area. But I don't know. That's a thickening of the plate. I don't know. And you said it's outdated, but it's still not telling us what this doesn't tell us either where the frack it was. But it looked like where was no, okay, right? Where?
Yeah, when SCOTY's first did it, he had it out on CD, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So that's like early 2000s. I got to see when he actually did this now. If that's true, it's like 20 years out of date minimum.
Nova's saying that
a much warmer and wetter place, kind of like a modern day swamp.
We start to put all of those pieces of evidence together to form in our minds an image of what the environment was like back then. Let's drop ourselves in a swamp. There,
a swamp,
and we're surrounded by trees towering overhead.
United Nations, okay. 50 minutes ago, the Arctic was swamp, according to PBS.
As winter, you find that day length is shortening, but the temperature doesn't get really cold. Then the sun dips below the horizon for the last time, and you're in the polar dark winter. And it's dark for 3 or 4 months. And during that dark phase, all of the trees have dropped their leaves and they're just standing waiting, not in a frosty environment, they're just waiting in the dark for spring. Spring comes and the trees respond with an explosion of growth. And off you are to another lovely, rich growing season near the North Pole.
All right, so they're saying the North 50 million years ago was all this. All right, so that's interesting. Back looking at the 4.6. That's on PBS. We pay for that. So I don't want to get into too much trouble with who. Deep time maps. I'm not sure that I buy the time maps. Yeah. So I don't want to share these things with you. Of course, there's other things on Pinterest that's not that. It's a different kind of map. Earth 50 million years ago. Significantly warmer with no polar ice caps, much higher sea levels, climate characterized as the Eocene epoch, featuring widespread tropical and subtropical forest with very humid environment 50 million years ago.
Well, it says SCOTY's maps were updated in 2021.
Right. That's what I remember, but I'm just letting you say what you said,
I don't know which ones we're looking at. Are they the old ones or the new ones?
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm not seeing a whole lot of difference in North America because it was really far north. So very, very, very hard to locate that question and answer there. Luke, thanks for stumping us, bud.
Yeah. So it was far enough
Yeah,
south
you're welcome.
that the asteroid hit the tropical forest in Greenland in 58.
I've got it. What the hell? Open this up.
But that's also why Greenland, they want to mine the crap out of it. Because they think there's a whole bunch of oil and everything else up there.
Yeah, virtually they have it the same spot right here. The subduction zone came from Sandwich Islands all the way up South America, all the way through Central America, which was straighter, and Mexico all the way up into Canada on this map 52.8 million years ago. And that one on the right is what I'm looking at. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, bud. We tried.
Well, I think they said
Here's
there
the
was
equator.
no Caribbean till 60. And another thing I read, so
Mm-hmm.
it's like all around the same time period.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then Chicxulub hit before the Caribbean was there. So how does that work?
I think it created it. But hey, that's just me.
But other than that, we're just creating more questions, I guess. But that's what we
Yeah,
do.
well, everything is a question, right?
Yeah.
I got an image here to share with you, so trying to get it. Image credits in this option. All right. Well, fine. Show me the damn view image in credit caption. Oh, poop. No help, NSF, you cocksuckers. What the hell? That's my wife. All right. I don't know. Can't tell you, bud. Sorry. Without really kind of trying to locate. It doesn't appear it was in the south. It appears it was in the far north, and it's been coming south. That's my estimation of it. So, all right, dude. Clemmer Doodle.
Yes. Yes.
You were muted.
Yes.
I just unmuted you.
I was just talking away.
You muted yourself there, bud. All right.
Yeah.
So, oh my God. Yeah, Butt Brain just went live. Whatever. I told you he watches. Anywho, it isn't a big deal, this earthquake here in Hawaii. So,
Yeah, it's about the same level as Malibu quake.
yeah.
Next.
It's got a swarm going on, and yeah, he did go on. It's funny stuff, man. But it is what it is, and I hope you figure it out. But anywho.
So did you get the link I put in there? Wait
I've been waiting for you to tell me you got a link for me.
I'll put it in again.
Timmy got one. Moving back all the way back to Malibu City.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Malibu
I
City.
have it. I have it. All right. Screen, geology, share. All right. Load it on screen. All right, buddy.
Okay, so I'm going to explain what this study. It's from 2008.
All right. I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah, and it's from the city of Malibu. So in it, they talk about all the seismic threats to Malibu. And so they list all the faults that are considered threats. So when this quake happened the other day, this was once I found out which fault it was on, which of course was the Malibu Coast Fault, I started digging to see what I could find out about it. So in this, they say the Malibu Coast, Santa Monica Fault, Hollywood Fault, and Raymond Fault should all be connected.
I'm gonna say they're all connected in there. Go all the way from Pomona all the way out to freaking Oxnard.
Yeah. And the reason they say is because all the faults are the similar type.
Which is what, just east-west strike slips or what?
Yeah, east-west strike slips, but they think they may have
a thrust component.
Yeah, thrust component and left lateral. So basically they're like the other east-west faults that we've talked about before, like Garlock and all those ones. And basically they go along the southern flank of the Santa Monica Mountains all the way over to where the San Gabriel Mountains start. So that's basically how they...
That's the Sierra Madre.
Yeah, because the Raymond Fault runs into the Sierra Madre. And actually it goes into that canyon Raymond Fault does. If you look at the new map, which I couldn't find again, it goes right into the same canyon that the bridge fire started in. So I thought that was interesting. So when I found that, I said, so then I tried to find other things that would back that up. And so I found a study from 2000 from John Dolan. He actually said all four of those were connected, plus Rancho Cucamonga Fault was connected too.
Oh, there is a Lido Creek Fault.
Yeah.
And
And in his study, it's from 2000, but the maps are crappy. So, because they're not like, you can't click on them, make them bigger. They're all black and white and right small, so they're hard to see. So I couldn't use the ones from that one. But in this one, the 2008 study, it shows the Malibu Fall, and it shows like the Santa Monica at more of an angle. But in the new ones, it has it like more east-west aligned, connecting to Malibu Coast and then Hollywood and then the Raymond. And I have no idea which study I saw this in. It must have been an LA Basin one. But I read 10 of those and I couldn't find it again because it was like a map that was like more recent from like 2018 or 20, showing how they were all, the different faults were connected.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are recent studies on each individual fault for like Santa Monica, because I have that one. So I'll put that in there next. And this one is from...
Did you hear the Southern Buck Ridge Fault? You haven't come across that one?
No, I don't remember that name.
Okay, that's where Lido Creek goes into it. So most recent surface rupture, Lake Hortatoria Holocene, only extreme northern end, other notes. This is the Hot Springs Buck Ridge Faults. Length is 75 kilometers. Idlewild, Mountain Center, Thomas Mountain, Anza. what it does is it crosses, or it's on the southern, excuse me, the southern edge of the San Andreas, between the San Jacinto and the San Andreas. That's where this fault is. As other large faults, many individual fault strands in the San Jacinto fault zone have their own identity. Its extreme northern end, where San Jacinto meets the San Andreas, this fault zone is made up of several parallel fault strands. The furthest east of these is called the Glen Helen Fault. The farthest west is known as the Lytle Creek Fault. One of the larger and more active fault segments, the Casa Loma Fault, runs from near Paris Reservoir just north of Anza. Another large active named segment of the Clark Fault, which runs from near Hemet, just 15 kilometers south shore of Salton Sea. The 54 San Jacinto quake probably occurred due to the rupture of the Clark Fault. That's pretty darn interesting.
Yeah, I read that before, but I'll talk about all that when.
When we hit the San Andreas. Yeah, the San Jacinto next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So back to what you were saying.
Yeah. So I put in the next one there. It's a Tumblr article from 2017. It explains how Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, and Hollywood Fault are connected.
All right. State redraws active fault strands on Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and Santa Monica.
Yeah. So Malibu Coast Fault connected to Santa Monica. Then Santa Monica connected to Hollywood, and well, they have Beverly Hills in that one listed too, but they're all on the same one. And its map is pretty good. So I like that map, but it wasn't giving me all four. Gave me the middle anyway.
I'm looking at it. Newport Inglewood crosses, and then all these other faults, Santa Monica Fault, goes east-west. The Brea tar pits are right down here too, where Hollywood. Right down here, right in here, I think. Should look that up. Oh, hold on. Let's zero this in. Go ahead and talk. I'm gonna look something up.
Yeah, and so the Santa Monica one, from all the studies that have been on it, they say it can go like high 6, low 7 in the latest ones. And the Hollywood Fault, they talk about it going high 6. But these are like the individual studies on each one. They don't know how big Malibu Coast Fault can go. They haven't done any studies to figure that out.
Well, haven't they kind of boosted the numbers on all the faults a little bit?
Yeah, it depends
on
on
what they think they can go.
It depends on how new the study is that you read. And the Raymond Fault, I think they said 7 is the highest it can do.
Right.
But of course, if they're all together and more than one rupture at one time, then that's when you get the bigger quakes.
That's when you can start getting the upper 7s and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because they say the Ventura Peters Point Fault, which is on the next level above in the transfer ranges, because the ones we're looking at are the ones that go on the south part. Well, the next level up, Ventura Peters Point, and the other ones that come in above that all together can go 8.1. But we'll talk about those when we get up to those, whenever we get to them. Because I think we're going to be in SoCal for a while.
Right.
Because we got to do all the ones off the coast that connect to Baja and all that stuff now.
All right. The tar pits are located on the corner of Carson and Wilshire Boulevard. Woodland. I think it's like right down here, dude. Pretty crazy.
Yep. And so what I thought was interesting today, which I told Joe about this on the phone, but I found a thing where they were interviewing people that felt the quake on Thursday in Malibu. And it was at KTLA, and they were having like a call-in show for like half an hour. So there was people that were calling in about where they were and how they felt the quake. So I thought that was super interesting. So one of the first people that called in was a older man. He's like 77, 78, and he lived out to the west of Malibu. But he felt it where he lives. And he said it felt identical to the start of the Northridge earthquake, but it was only a few seconds. Because he said when it started, he thought it was going to be like Northridge because he lived over near Northridge, somewhere close to it, he said. And the Northridge quake destroyed his house because he said he had to climb out of the rubble to get out of it. And so he was like comparing the different ones that he remembered going back, like however long he's lived in LA.
So he's referring to the type of shaking that he encountered.
Yeah, because that's what they were asking, like people to call in and say where they were and how they felt it and what it was like. So that was one of the first notable calls of this older man that called in. And he said at the end of it, he goes, well, he said, based upon all the quakes I've lived through in 70 years in LA, he goes, well, he thinks like just how many he's felt like in the past couple of years. He says, oh, at the end, right before he was signing off, he said, oh, probably a big one within a year. That's what he said. So I thought that was pretty good. So, and then there was another lady that called in from Lytle Creek, and she felt the quake there. And it was like wavy, but it was enough that it moved, so she knew what it was. And she'd be way over on like the opposite side, way the crap over there. And so when they realized that she was from Lytle Creek, well, they started asking her about the bridge fire. Because of course the people
I have it on screen.
Yeah. So
the bridge fire is right through here.
Yeah. And so they got asking her about the fire, and she said, oh, right now it's around me on every side. So
more missiles,
said,
I take it.
Yeah, something's happening. I don't know. That's the first I've heard it since like this morning. So I gotta shut that off or to just keep going. There. I didn't even know where it was. I never looked.
Right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so the lady was describing it, and I forget how many years she said she'd been there, 40 years or something like that. So she was explaining it, and then she said, well, the fire's all around me right now. And she says they haven't had to evacuate yet, but she had all her stuff ready to go. And of course and then the next person that called in after her said that they felt it all the way down in San Juan Capistrano Beach. So I thought, well, that was crazy because that's way down there. It's like all the way down, isn't it? Almost,
yeah, that's what,
like
40, 50 miles?
It would be all the way down. Isn't San Juan Capistrano?
San Juan is in Orange County. Yeah. I'll show you here. San Juan is right here.
San Juan Capistrano Beach, I think she said.
Yeah. Right down there.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting, how it would go all the way down there so she could feel it.
Well, that's because of the Newport Inglewood fault crosses the Hollywood fault and the Santa Monica fault. So that vibration is kind of like a spider web, you know, one hits the other one, it vibrates. So And I'll show you.
And then there's people that called in from Huntington Beach too, but I was
Yeah, let
surprised
me
about
show you here. So the earthquake happened up here, right? Just around Pepperdine University, somewhere up in here. Right? Here's the Santa Monica Fault. That's the one we're talking about, right? Hollywood Fault, the Raymond Fault, all the way out to Lytle Creek, which is right up in here. So this lady felt it because it vibrated out here. The other one felt it down here in San Juan Cap, which is right down here. Right here, San Juan Cap. Here's Dana Point. So right down here. And what's that say? The Cristiantos Fault goes right into there. There's all these little tiny faults, but Newport Inglewood travels just offshore. And it turns into Rose Canyon. The Newport Inglewood goes right through Huntington Beach and Long Beach. And where it crosses, right up here. Right? And where's the 405? There's the 110, 605, 710. But interesting.
And another thing I want to mention right now too, if you read the fault reports of the 4.6 in Malibu back in February, they're the exact same.
All right. That was offshore, was it not?
I can't remember. I can't remember if it was on land or just offshore.
I'll just do a quick search here. Go ahead. You can continue talking.
Yeah, it was in February. So
February. All right.
February 9th or 10th. But another thing that's funny when I started looking up all this stuff, Lytle Creek had a 4.1 in January of this year. So that whole section has been acting up this year. So I thought that was interesting.
All right. So I'm going to take a snapshot for the 1 month of February. Search. Modify. It didn't like it. All right, let's go to 3. Oh, no wonder. What the hell? 0201. All right. Oh, that's why. All right. So Greater Los Angeles had a Malibu 4.6. We know about that. Terrain. That happened on February 9th. And it was down the road a little bit. So share this one instead. Here we go. So the latest quake we had was right here. This one's down the road a little bit, but along that same fault line. And we had another one, 3-1 right there. So this 4.6 happened in February of this year.
Yeah, the same time that same time as the Palos Verdes landslide started slipping.
In addition to that, Ontario had a 3.6 in that same month. All right, Ontario. Yeah. There's the airport. Now listen, there's the airport.
Well, and there was
talked about a series of quakes that happened just below that, right here, before the Malibu quake.
Yep. And there was the 4.1 at Lytle Creek in January, early January, I think.
So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to do a search. I'm going to do an 2.5 custom.
Like just do anything, I don't know, about
02.
4 since January.
Yeah, I think I got to do a little higher. I think 3. I'm going to do the rectangle.
You'll get too many if you do 3, probably.
Yeah.
Because you get all the aftershock quakes.
Yeah, I'm trying to do just Los Angeles. See what happens real quick. Not too many. All right. So the current, what we're seeing here, show this on screen. Here we go. Interesting. We did have the last month or this month on the 9th, right? Or on the 7th, sorry. An earthquake, a 3.5. And we had a 3.9. All right. This one happened in February. Real close to each other, right? Okay. So we back out a little bit. And we go over here. This is in February, right here and here.
Yep.
And this is now. Right? This and this are related.
So like it's on the same longitude
Yeah,
or
and
latitude.
if you go,
Right.
and here I'll throw something else at you. If you go back to 2023, the next level up where the high 5.1 is.
Hold on. Now I get to do this. I have to do another search. All right. So bear with me. Go back to here. You want me to go back what dates?
Oh, you may as well go start at 2023,
All right.
right through to now.
All right. 23.
Because there was another
Mhm.
4.2 by Malibu in
All right.
2023 too. It's connect the quake dots. It's a fun game.
That's all right. Here we are for the terrain. We've got our quakes happening over there in Ontario. This is the one that kind of rocked everybody there in Highland Park in August.
Yeah.
Which is along that same fault system, right? What we were saying, going to this one here, share this tab instead. We'll go looking in here, Santa Monica Fault, Hollywood Fault, Malibu Fault, right? Goes all the way around. Raymond Fault right up through here. Here's El Monte. Here's Los Angeles. Here's the Rio Narrows Fault. Here's the Central Avenue Fault, the Chino Fault. Yorupa's over here. Ontario Airport's right here. There's no known faults in that area. There's this number 430, right? The Fontana Fault. But why right here, right off that 60, right? And then we've got the what date was that one? Highland Park, Alhambra, just north of downtown. This is not going to help us on the Trembler map. Not this one either. We're looking at El Monte, 605 for Newport Inglewood goes right up in here. All right, there's the Alhambra Fault right there. And we don't see it. Hold on. There you go. There's the Alhambra Fault right there. Okay. That hit, was that June and August?
Yeah.
All right. What else happened June and August? Not these, but what about up here?
Yeah, you had
That's September, Fontana.
Bakersfield too, right?
Yeah. You're right. The Bakersfield one. Yeah. This is January up in here. I'm not seeing anything in June, so it's November. Okay, up here. Oh, no, November. Well, there's May. That's October. I have to extend the search grid. But continue until I find it.
Yeah, and the high 5.1 was in 2023 too.
Okay. Custom. Search. Yeah, I've got it now. All right. Let me share this tab instead. Close all these other ones out. All right, there's that one. This is the one we're talking about. This swarm happened in August, right? The big one, 5.2, August 7th. We got something happen out here in January or April. There's May out there.
Yeah, and C Dub's talking about the 5 in Barstow too. Remember?
Right, Barstow got that. That was in July. Yeah, which they downgraded it.
Yeah, so
4.9.
if you just do the 5s,
Well, it's a 4.9 out in Barstow,
yeah,
and
interesting.
Malibu wouldn't show up. So we got a swarm here, swarm here, swarm there, swarm right there. We have a pretty good quake of 4.4 in Highland. We got a pretty good quake out in Barstow of 4.9. We got the 5.2 out here. It seems like they're clustering a little bit, doesn't it? And down here in the
Yeah, a
Salton
little bit.
Steve had a couple of 4s. Yeah, a lot of 4.3s out there. Another little cluster down here, Salt City, but 3.5s. Seems everything is gauging into this region. Santa Barbara to somewhere in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's Dub noticed that. It's on the same northwest to southeast line.
Right. Yeah. And
well, in the 54 San Jacinto quake was 2 years after Tehachapi.
Tehachapi.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting.
All right. So back to what you were referring to here on this map here. You were talking about how Malibu Coast Fault, Santa Monica Fault turns into the Raymond Fault. And in the felt reports, interesting how somebody down in Huntington Beach felt it. And my daughter felt it pretty good too. And up in the mountains, pretty far up there, north of Rancho Cucamonga. So up here where the 215 comes up, Lido Creek is up here. That got banged. So in just looking at the faults, the Glen Helen fault, that's the Lido Creek right here. All right. The Cucamonga fault. There's the Raymond fault right along the Sierra Madre fault, right? Hollywood fault, Santa Monica, and then the earthquake here and the earthquake out here. So there's movement along this east-west or west-east fault system. And it goes on out to Barstow. If you just look at it right here, it goes right up into Barstow. Hold on here. Sorry. I apologize. Back to what I was saying. Lido Creek is right here. There's the San Andreas. Right? Lido Creek is right there. That's where the one lady felt it. Follow that fault right here through the Cucamonga, through Raymond, through Hollywood, through Santa Monica, then Malibu. This quake's happened here and over here. In addition, a woman felt it down here in north of San Clemente, down this way. That's because the Newport Inglewood fault as well was vibrated because of these two quakes. And then the El Monte quake that happened earlier this year, and I showed you that one.
Now, nobody called in from Palos Verdes, but I wonder if they felt it there too. Because if you see where it comes off the Palos Verdes Peninsula there and keeps going, it comes right up to the exact spot where The 4.7 just happened.
You following it up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right here, the Palo Verde. Palo Verde turns into the Santa Monica splay there. And there's a conjunction right up in here in these estates. That's the problem. And that's where the slides are happening as well.
Yeah.
And there's land out there that didn't exist before, meaning the water, the land has lifted.
Yeah,
pretty dramatically.
The real estate guy, I got to find that again.
Right.
He just did it like a few days ago.
Yeah.
His video.
I watched him too. Yeah, I watched that video. It's a good video. Interesting that the slides are happening here. Or actually, sorry. Down here, the Cabrillo Fault, the Verdes Fault, right? The Newport Inglewood Fault goes right through there, and the Palo Verde Fault goes right through the middle of that. And they all conjunction against right up here, against the Santa Monica Mountains. Now, what did we learn before, just a few days back from Brother Canuck? And I'll try to draw this out for you. There we go. Share on stream. We have the Santa Monica like this. Palo Verdes like this. And then out here, here's Malibu. Here's Palos Verdes, right? And then we have the fault system that follows this, goes in. This is the Hollywood, North Hollywood, right? Santa Monica. Then we got the Raymond Fault, and then up to where Lytle Creek is up here. Cucamonga is like right here, this segment. Raymond's this segment right in here. I don't know what the name is right there, but North Hollywood, Santa Monica, and then Malibu, these segments. And then we have the Palo Verdes that comes through here. We have Newport Inglewood, it kind of does that. Then we have another fault system and another fault system kind of do this right across these areas, leading into the Malibu, right? So if I shared that screen back with you, show on stream, there you go. You'll see that what's crossing, Palo Verdes, right? And Cabrillo. They don't have the San Pedro Basin, which, comes way out here. Here's the Newport Inglewood Fault, which is a major, major, major dangerous fault because it goes all the way down from San Diego, all the way up through Los Angeles into the Santa Monica Fault, right? It crashes right into it, right underneath downtown Los Angeles. And it's got you see the creep here. Very, very, very bad area. Here's Los Angeles, downtown. This is West LA, Culver City, West Los Angeles College right there. So here's the 405 and West LA and East LA. They're two different cities, kind of. But interesting how all of these things kind of crash into anything. The Whittier Narrows Fault, which comes out of Elsinore on a splay, runs into the Raymond Fault as well, and then goes beyond it to Verduga and turns into the Northridge Fault.
Yep.
And that's pretty amazing. And that's off the Elsinore. The Elsinore also turns north, goes through Chino, and then crashes up against Walnut Creek, San Jose Fault, Cucamonga, smashes up in that in Claremont area. Now, we're watching quakes. There's Ontario Airport. We're watching the quakes happen right here, just north of the Chino Fault. But there is this Fontana Fault that works its way all the way through into the Chino Fault. And so that stuff we're watching happen. He's searching things up.
Yeah, I found the guy.
All righty. Go ahead, put the link in there.
Yeah, his name is Jason Buck, realtor for there. And the video's 1 month ago, land movement in Palos Verdes.
Right.
Creates a new coastline and uncovers fossils and stuff. It's like 12 minutes long.
All right, we can kind of look at it. Maybe this is Southern California region unlocking. I think it's on the move, bub. By the lower, you mean at depth and opposed to the surface. Am I correct, kitty cat? These are the culprits. I think everything comes from San Jacinto and Elsinore. Yeah. I think that every bit as dangerous as the San Jacinto is the Newport Inglewood, which turns into the Rose Canyon. And as it juxtaposition, the Sierra Madre fault, huge long fault, and then again the Raymond Cucamonga, Santa Monica, Malibu fault is east to west, another major danger fault, and then just uncovered is the Point of Hills fault, which has a splay right onto where the Ontario fault, Ontario earthquakes are happening, and it crosses right into the Santa Monica and Raymond fault as well. So it goes into it at a northwest trend. You gonna put it out there, Canuck, or what?
Oh, well, I got it on my phone, so I have to bring it up on the other thing.
I was kind of stalling, buddy.
Yeah.
But again, I guess what we're doing here is we're constantly checking against what we're learning from USGS and from ArcGIS and from all these other sites. What could happen here in Southern Cal, and what the danger is for so many people. And I'm trying to. There's our article we're working off of.
Okay, I gotta find it on this.
Okay. Don't save that one. The section discusses impacts associated with geology and soils associated with implementation of the proposed project. The project site located in the city of Malibu, which extends about 27 miles along the Pacific Ocean coastline southwest of Los Angeles. Malibu lies within the coastal and foothill areas of the south side of Santa Monica mountain range. The project site is within a Malibu Beach quadrangle, which covers about 25 square miles. It tracks the eastern portion of the Solstice Canyon, Pepperdine University outside the city, Malibu Lagoon State Beach, and the community of Las Flores. The southernmost boundary of the project is located approximately 750 feet as the crow flies near the Pacific Ocean, crestline, and Santa Monica mountain ranges, which is west part of the Traverse Range geomorphic province of California. The valleys and the mountains in the diverse ranges are typically bounded by a series of east-west trending, generally north-dipping reverse faults. North-dipping. That means the ocean side lifts, but the north dips. With a left lateral, I mean it slides north. It's sliding to the left, sliding north. And marine sedimentary rock. Okay, oblique with an oblique movement. Bedrock beneath this area consists of Miocene geologic aged volcanic and marine sedimentary rocks. This province is considered seismically active. Project site is at an elevation of 77 to 386 feet above sea level. Is located on a moderate to steep sloping hillside. Surrounding coastal area is generally characterized by broad, generally to moderately sloping and relatively continuous terrace surface above the narrow, moderately wide beaches. All right. So the faulty system of Southern California is dominated by the compressionary regime associated with the intersection of San Andreas Fault and the Garlock Fault. The San Andreas Fault separates two tectonic plates, The western side of the fault is the Pacific Plate, and the eastern side is the North American Plate. The western plate is moving in a northwesterly direction relative to the North American Plate. The San Andreas Fault generally trends northwest to southeast. However, North Traverse Range Province, the fault tends to more in the east-west direction, causing the fault's right lateral strike slip movement to produce north-south compression between the two plates. This compression has produced rapid uplift of many of the mountain ranges in southern Cal. According to the Southern Cal Earthquake Center, north-south compression in southern Cal has been estimated between 5 and 20 millimeters per year, about an inch. Site geology Malibu is bounded up by the Santa Monica Mountains by the north and the Pacific Ocean to the south. Santa Monica Fault is east of Ventura County to the west, and project site lies in the west. All right, so Malibu Coast Fault, Las Flores Thrust Fault, Santa Monica Fault, Palo Verdes Hills Fault, and Newport Inglewood Fault, all active. So that's what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, so they consider all those a threat to Malibu.
Correct.
Area. And that project, whatever it was they were working on back in 2008.
Right. The Santa Monica Fault is located approximately 4 miles east of the site and is considered potentially active. Recent studies of the fault indicate that it could possibly considered active city of Santa Monica in 1999. However, it has not been designated an Alquist Priolo fault zone as the time of this report. Santa Monica Fault extends from approximately the city of Glendale westward through the northern portion of the city of Santa Monica and extends offshore, where it's structurally linked to the Malibu Coast Fault. This fault is thought to be predominantly reversed fault and is treated as such. Malibu Coast Fault. The Malibu Coast Fault is located less than 1 mile from the site and considered to be potentially active, and active segments near Malibu section depicting earthquake fault special study zones do not extend into the project site. The quadrangle and all that stuff. The Malibu Coast Fault extends from the western point Doom near Ventura, Los Angeles County line, eastward towards the city of Santa Monica, where the structurally linked to the Santa Monica Fault. More of them, huh?
Yeah.
Actively along the Malibu Fault have occurred through the late Quaternary and Holocene periods. Malibu Coast Fault is thought to be predominantly left lateral strike slip. That means the ocean slides more. Palo Verdes Fault, the northwest to southeast trending Palo Verdes Fault, is located about 6 miles offshore from the site. This fault is considered active with some potentially active shore segments. It extends offshore in Santa Monica Bay north and passes through Palo Verde Peninsula into the Los Angeles Harbor area, and fault has right strike and displacement offsets along the ancestral Los Angeles River have been attributed to this fault. So the Los Angeles River has an offset in what they believe is the Palos Verdes Fault has created those offsets. Newport Inglewood Fault is located about 13 miles east of the site. Consider the active historically recorded movements. The entire trace of fault is mapped as an Alquist Priolo fault, earthquake fault zone. 1920 earthquake of Inglewood, estimated to 4.9, and 1933 estimated to 6.3, are thought to be the result of movement on this fault. Newport Inglewood Fault is principally fault crossing the middle Los Angeles basin. The trace of this fault manifests through the topographic hills through the basin and includes Baldwin, Chevron, Rosecrans, Dominguez, and Signal Hills. Displacement along this fault is right lateral strike slip. So that would mean the interior side moves up. Interesting.
All the rock alerts are Tel Aviv. over
Oh,
60.
shit. Oh, shit. I must.
Because I just went in and looked because I was getting more. So they're all Tel Aviv area.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So that's not good because that's
Mm.
the newer long-range missiles.
Correct. Yeah. I was seeing that. I just saw some, but it wasn't live. There we go. Not seeing anything in Beirut, Hebron, Tehran, Jerusalem, northern Israel.
No, it's
Lebanon.
all basically between Tel Aviv. Can't see the other names because there's too many rock alerts over the top of them. Around the airport.
Tel Aviv. Live. Oh, shoot, I just had it. Right, alive. Well, Times Now is the only one that's got it live, and I'm not real happy with them.
It's 6:30 a.m. over there right now.
Well, they've got a big protest happening right now on Times of India in Tel Aviv.
At 6:30 in the morning?
Yeah. So it shows it's live, but I'm not seeing.
Well, it should be like daylight there now.
Is it? This one's dark, so I see daylight happening. Yes. Jerusalem. See, yeah, Jerusalem I can see is clear at the moment. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Can't see any. There we go. Sky webcams offline.
Well, it says the last alerts were 8 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Unless they already know it's coming from somewhere else. But I don't know.
Well, I know the Iranians, them sons of bitches, are going to do something. They know they can't do it when President Trump gets to be president again because he'll thump them hard.
But anyway, we got to do the PALOS VERDES link there. I put it in.
Yeah.
With the realtor guy.
Okay, did you get it in there?
Yeah, it's a YouTube link I put.
All right, hold on a second.
This is pretty interesting. I thought it's a pretty good video.
I thought it was a great video. Yes, and with what we're talking about, I think Creative Commons would allow us to do that because it's for educational purposes. So let me find that link you put in there. Dub Diesel's got something.
Yeah, it's right before Dubs.
All right. There you go. All right. So I'm going to play this guy. Show this on tab instead. This guy is Jason Buck. He's a realtor. It's great information. I've seen this, so we'll.
Hi, I'm Jason Buck. I'm a lifelong native of Palos Verdes, and I'm down in the Portuguese Bend landslide area. I'm at the very end where basically all the land is coming into the ocean. And this coastline is changing drastically, almost week by week. The original coastline was kind of like this, where the shore met the cliffs and the cliffs were deteriorating and you'd have this rock. But that whole peninsula right there was never there before, and the mound that's lifting there was never like that. You can see in the distance you have a little bit of a beach, and then it goes out towards the point. At the point there's a cave that comes into the water, and it gets pretty dangerous at times because people don't recognize that the swells come in patterns, and they get knocked off and out in the ocean. You can't hike across, you'd have to swim to get across that way. And on the other side is Abalone Cove and Abalone State Beach, but looking this way is just incredible. So keep in mind, this would have been the original type of coast it was, and then you'd have the water, but all of this stuff has come out of the ocean. In fact, that whole beach where those people are was never there before, nor was any of this rock. And then in the distance you can see the gray. That's bentonite. That's actually what most of the land is moving on. So the whole hillside behind me, the whole Portuguese Bend Preserve area, which includes Upper Portuguese Bend all the way up towards Rolling Hills, that hillside has bentonite, which is like clay. And when it gets wet, it gets slippery. And basically all of that land, you know, up to a few years ago, had moved 600 feet. From the 50s, they ruptured a natural spring up near the top. And that started the landslide way back in the day. In fact, right here above where I'm standing was where there was a pool. The original Portuguese Bend Beach Club had a pool and a whole facility, and there's parts of it left out here. There's a caisson right there or two, there's another one over there, and there's drainage pipes all through here that are left over from that old structure. But what's happening now in the last year is all of this new growth. I mean, this is changing almost every week. And the actual PALOS, the Portuguese Bend Beach Club, the volleyball court, and some of the other areas there has risen nearly 20 feet. And they had to take out the paddle tennis courts because they deteriorated. It's really a shame. But there's no denying just how incredible this coastline is. And it's fascinating to see all the changes. Look at this beach back in the summer, but never anything like this. There's a full bay right here. This is absolutely incredible, and it's just so wild to see. And you can see we have some other kind of soil up there, the white. That's interesting. And then the big drain pipes is they're trying to get all the water. So what they've done is create hydroggers that are drilling, trying to find the water source to relieve the tension so that the land will stop moving. But this was never like this. There was never a beach here. This is just incredible. This is quite a bit of sand. And it's nice sand. It's really wild. Hard to believe. There's a few little tide pools over here, but the size of this reef is really what's just super incredible. That hump was never there like that. You can see one of the homes that's off Lime Tree, and then the rest of the PALOS, Portuguese Bend, area is up there. It does have a moratorium for building now until they can get the land to stop moving. But this is insane. So there's the caisson from the old pool structure, as well as all those other pieces there. And then you can see this giant flat reef that came out of nowhere. All of this has just come out of the ground in the last 6 months or so.
Pretty crazy how this is, the uplift is happening as the one slides. I'm gonna say it could be what's going on. Hold on a second.
It's because it's all thrust faults. This is exactly what's happening.
Yeah. And you have let's see, the ocean sides out here, right?
Because where the slide is down farther from where he is. Where he's walking to now is not where the slide is, but it's all rising. Right. He talks about it more in the rest of the video.
See, you have you have a segment of sediment or what have you. You have these layers, And what's happened is somewhere down, I think they said 65 feet. They broke something, and what's happened is that this piece of land is now sliding down the hill, and as it does, it accumulates down here, and it's uplifting. So this stuff is starting to rise here because this portion's coming down. You can call them the pizza boxes if you wish, but when they drilled into it, and there is like these spaces in between here that are clay, and they just slide on one another, So you have stuff that's sediment, you have rocks, and then you have clay, and the clay slide is sliding down. And as it does, it hits all this other stuff and then kind of brings the stuff out of the water. That's kind of that's how I take what's happening. Is that how you kind of visualize it too there, Canuck?
Well, I think it's the thrust faults doing it from underneath. Because later on, he has his paleontologist friend there, and they're looking at all the rocks that are farther offshore that have come up there. And and his paleontologist friend says, well, these are all fossils of little whales, baby whales. So all that stuff is underwater.
Or under land that's being brought up, yeah.
So it's pretty interesting stuff.
Because what we learn about it is that the eastern side is a dip, and then the western side or the ocean side is an uplift.
Because I think the whole landslide thing is from it moving underneath, and that's what.
Sure. I think that's what they believe as well.
No, they think it's water. I think the water thing is bullshit. But
well, they think the sliding is due to the water, and maybe they don't want to say that there's a major fault in there that's moving as well.
Well, they don't want to say that because nobody will be. Well, there's no insurance there now, as far as I know. You can't get insurance for it because of the landslide. So
I think California is. There's insurance is hard to get for your house in California right now.
And now that I've researched 54 to 56, that's when it started happening. Now I know all the earthquakes that were down below it and above it. So it's basically doing the same thing.
Well, that'll be Wednesday, buddy. Let's not get into that one. We'll get onto that on Wednesday. Because we'll get to we've already got a couple rabbit holes off this one article that you're trying to
Raymond Fault had a quake in 88 that was right under Lucy Jones' house. So I thought that was funny
but
too.
I don't think they call it the Raymond Fault. I mean Raymond earthquake though.
No, I don't know what they call it. It was like a 5.3 or something.
Yeah, I think that was the Upland Fault. Upland quake.
But it was under Lucy Jones' house anyway.
Yeah.
So ever since then, because before that,
1990. I apologize.
Yeah, before that, she said Raymond Fault was not active.
It was a 5.7, 1990.
Well, this one was 88.
Okay.
Because
that's along that trend, though. Okay.
Yeah, it was when I was looking up the Raymond Fault quakes, it came up.
Well, several of the examinations of earthquake volcanism, upland air thrust, both thrust and strike slip faulting on opposite ends of the San Jose fault. The mechanism 1990 event showed to be pure left lateral motion on a steeply dipping 70-degree northeast striking fault. Wow.
So that quake, they call the Pasadena earthquake.
Okay, the Pasadena one? All right.
It's December 3rd, 1988. Downgraded according to the latest USGS studies on it, 4.9.
But it came in at what?
5.3 when I read the original report on it.
Right. This one I'm talking was in 1990, February 28.
So what was that one?
1990. 5.7.
Oh, so that was bigger then.
Yeah,
Well, that would have been 2 years after this.
correct. But along that same fault system.
Yeah.
Steeply dipping 70-degree northeast striking fault. That a bilateral rusher did not reach the surface. It was felt in Santa Barbara and Vegas.
Yeah, because Lucy did one of the studies on it. The 88 one. It was
Okay.
right under her house, so that's funny.
What city was it?
Pasadena, because it was right under where she lived.
Mm-hmm.
December 3rd, 1988.
Right.
Which they say 4.9, but when I read about it first, they said it was a 5.3, so it sounds just like the foolishness they're doing right now.
What do you mean foolishness here, buddy?
Yeah, or they.
Yeah, it was a left lateral strike slip with very minor reverse motion. So December 3rd, 1988. I remember it. I was in it. Magnitude 5. Apart from its effects on local residents, this quake was notable for a few seismological details. First, it was followed by an unusually small number of aftershocks for a quake of its magnitude, the largest of which was hardly noticeable at 2.4, unless the Montebello earthquake was considered an aftershock of this event. Second is it served to bring the debate over the sense of motion of the Raymond fault closer to an end by providing clear example of the left lateral movement most likely located along that fault, the Raymond fault. That's the 1988. And the 19 what did I say? 1999?
And remember, we just talked about 86 Oceanside and Palm Springs, and 87 Superstition Hills, and 87 Whittier. So then you had 88.
All those
Pasadena
are along
quake.
these faults that we're talking about.
Yeah, and then the 1991 that you just mentioned that I didn't know about.
Uh-huh.
And I'm wondering now, 1989 was La Loma Prieta.
Yeah, that's way far away.
Yeah, but I wonder if you extended where the Pasadena quake out on that trend, if it would end up at Loma Prieta.
No, that's the Calaveras. That'd be the Calaveras. Because the Loma Prieta earthquake, I lived up there. I had just moved down here, and in 87.
Because I think they say Loma Prieta was a thrust fault now too.
I think so. You could be right. I lost
in the Santa Cruz.
Yeah, Mountains. Yeah. Like I said, I live way up the top. Yeah. Okay, nothing happening on Kilauea. Interesting kind of burn there.
And of course, 85 was the big Mexico City quake. So that's a lot of stuff happened in 1985 to 1990. But we're in another rabbit hole here now. But it's the same.
Oh well, of course. That's just why we call it rabbit hole. And I remember, was it 87 was the Whittier fault?
Yeah, Whittier and Superstition Hills.
Yeah.
Both same year. Whittier was first, I think, then Superstition Hills.
I don't remember where Superstition Hills is. Superstition.
Down at the bottom of San Jacinto, basically.
And that was 88?
87. 87 was Superstition Hills. And
yes,
Whittier.
87 Superstition, yeah. 6.0 to 6.5. And
the Oceanside quake in 86 was actually on San Diego Trough.
That was on the Imperial Valley. That was way south. All right.
Palm Springs was in 86 too.
That was in the Imperial Valley fault system, the bottom of San Andreas or San Jacinto and San Andreas.
Yeah.
Brawley area. Yeah. Elmo Ranch earthquake. It was a 6.0, depth of 2.3 or 1/4 miles, southwest of Westmoreland. So, yeah, that was way south. The Superstition 87.
Yep.
That would be on. Well, I don't know how close it was. Let me try to get the coordinates. All right, original time left. Oh, there we go. Here's the coordinates. Come on, you turd. Control C. Don't I have the? I didn't. I thought I had it open already. GE. All right. Just want to, see what's going on. I think there's a trend happening here. All right. So that's where that hit. Let me go save the project, local. And that one was a 6.0.
Oh, Dub's asking how Palos Verdes was formed. Palos Verdes used to be Channel Island.
Yeah, that's what you said. I think it's an uplift out of the water.
Well, that's what they say if you read about
Okay.
it. Came up out of the water because the indigenous peoples that lived there were also on the Channel Islands, and they whatever they grew for like food and stuff, the same exact things are on the Channel Islands because they were out there too. So if you read about Palos Verdes history and geology, that's what it'll tell you. And it was an island before the LA Basin got filled in with sediment.
1124. Right.
Yeah. And that's why all those thrust faults are there. Because those thrust faults are what lift the islands up out of the water and the mountains. So basically the LA Basin is pretty much by what it said in that article, everything from Palos Verdes to Puente Hills. Those are the main thrust faults that encompass the LA Basin. And at one time it was underwater. Well, actually, they say multiple times it was underwater. And then came up out of the water for whatever reason. So it's crazy stuff.
In 1988.
Yeah, well, they say the sediment is mainly stuff that came off the mountains, right, from erosion. But I imagine there'd be volcanic stuff in there too. Since there used to be a big volcano at Garlock, but that's another story.
Right. All right. The Whittier quake in 1987 was a blind thrust.
Yeah, they say now it was Puente Hills. Thrust fault.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, crap.
In the new studies. Based upon what they've mapped now. Because at whatever depth it is and how it intersects with the faults underneath. So it's crazy stuff. But what's nuts about Palos Verdes is there's two major thrust faults right near it. So
Freaking, I just crashed Google Earth. Fucking thing.
It couldn't handle all the extra stuff.
All right. So what we're building here is a historical evidence of earthquakes along a series of faults that traverse the greater Los Angeles area. And in doing so, we've identified, along with, the scientists saying, these are major faults, and they range from 5 to mid 6s. I haven't seen evidence of anything above those numbers in the downtown Los Angeles area. Even Northridge was a 6.7, and Sylmar was a little smaller. Several of the earthquakes in the Inland Empire, beginning of West LA and over, were relatively small as well. No 7s for 100 years, except for if you go north, then you get the Tehachapi quake up our Bakersfield. You get a large earthquake there. You get a large earthquake on the Imperial Fault south of the border. You get a large earthquake out in 29 Palms, 2 of them out there, matter of fact, Landers and Hector Mine, and then you get the Ridgecrest. Greater Los Angeles does get the larger, but downtown, we're not seeing that. Now, the belief system is that LA is bound to get a major earthquake. If forecasting it, there's nobody going to try and do that. The trend is the trend of what's happening. We are seeing, when compression's happening, the east-west faults start to bang off. That's what's happening right now. That's movement from the Pacific Plate, in my opinion. The Pacific Plate's moving faster. I believe it doesn't move at a consistent rate. I think it builds up pressure kind of like a worm, inches forward, right? It builds up, and then boof, pushes forward, builds up, boof, pushes forward. That's what I call, in tongue in cheek, the chicken leg. It's the inching forward and slows down, then inching forward and it slows down. And that's where you get, the California desert moving some 50 feet in 40 years. Now, if you did an average of 50 feet in 40 years, how far north does LA going to get in 1,000 years? Is crazy. If they're saying it's consistent, which I don't believe it is. Well, it's crazy.
Well, that's basically what the brand new fault studies are saying, that faults move at a different rate depending on
Right.
if it's a 1,000-year time scale. Like, it may not hardly move in 1,000 years, but then it goes crazy for 1,000 years.
Yeah, kind of like Iceland.
Yeah, that's the new studies on Garlock,
Uh-huh.
the brand new ones.
Right.
But they're finding that other places too, all over.
Well, if we're looking at the Garlock, and I like the article that Dubs sent, and I'll put it on screen for you here. Just looking at the image, knowing that the Pacific Ocean goes at, I don't know what, a 340 degrees or whatever in this, North America coming south. Is North America making that bend in Garlock? I wonder. Because bending over here, along with the White Wolf and the Kern River Fault, is bending along the same as Garlock. And then you got the Owens Valley Fault, which hits Garlock. And it seems all of this stuff is going up the San Andreas. I mean, there was a volcano down here. Now part of it's up here. Kind of weird. And that all happened within the last 40 million years. So when you get a volcano split in half because it's right on the San Andreas, was the San Andreas there, or was it located somewhere else and then it came there? And I don't know. I don't have the answers. Or is all of Los Angeles, Santa Monica, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, is all of that land that used to be at the bottom of the ocean? And it's getting crunched up against North America and the sediment falling on it from North America. Is that how it started? There's a lot of marine sedimentary stuff out here. And, part of those things, we really have to, even looking at this ArcGIS here, which will give us what kind of rocks are down here. All right. And I can go, right, I can look down in here and just in the greater Los Angeles area, right? TV, that's all volcanic, dude. That's all Ventura. I mean, that's all Ventura. Malibu's right here. And that's all. Well, there is TV up in there. I believe TV is volcanic. TV, volcanic rocks, tertiary. Volcanic flow rocks, minor pyroclastic deposits. So part of that's interesting how there's volcanic stuff up in here. But if you look at the greater Los Angeles, you'll see out here, and if I zoom in, it's all quaternary stuff, and it's all marine and non-marine continental sedimentary rocks, stuff that just flowed down to the mountains. Like there's some more volcanics up in here. Interesting how they're up here. Where the hell is this? Live Oak, Walnut, San Dimas. Oh, all right. There's some volcanics there. A little bit more here, and then a lot more down in towards the coast. Here's Lompoc up here. There's some volcanics up here as you come around. On the Garlock is right there. A ton of volcanics out to in a greater area of Los Angeles. Southern Cal over by Arizona, the border. Lots of volcanics. And of course up by Morro Bay or Morro Lake, Mono Lake. And then here's the volcano right here. Diablo Range. And then there used to be one right here that got split in half. And that the other half went up to San Andreas and is out here right now. Pinnacles.
Yep. So it's very exciting. The Enoch volcano.
Yeah.
Half is at Pinnacles and the other half is still back by Garlock.
And Garlock is stuck, not going anywhere. It's kind of like an old, how would you say it? Like a wood whittler, it's like it's the metal thing that's, and it's like a planer, right? All this stuff's grinding up against.
Because what they say, San Andreas broke Enoch volcano in half.
Yep.
And moved half it up.
I don't know how many miles that is, but that's got to be 100 miles. Didn't happen too long ago, maybe 17 million years ago.
Yeah, it's quite the story when you read about it.
So if that happened 17 million years ago, and over by me, down here, there's some major volcanoes just across the border. right here, the super volcano, that Tufts went all the way to Barstow.
Well, ancient Lake Kauai was big.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Was that the one in
That's
some-
the one that went all the way from Cerro Prieto all the way up past Salton Sea.
Okay.
Because Cerro Prieto used to be underwater in the gigantic ancient Lake Kauai.
Whatever, yeah. Interesting stuff.
Because Salton Sea is just a smaller version of ancient Lake Kauai.
Yeah. Salton Sea's drained, filled, and then mankind did a bunch of crap with it. And basically it's toxic now. But
yeah, because it's in the Salton Sink.
Yeah. They used to take river in the 1800s. They took river boats up the coast, up the Colorado River. I think
Salton Sea has only been there since 1905. You cover the history of Salton Sea. Before that, it was desert. So in 1690, when it had the 8-ish, they think there was no water there. It was all dried up by then.
Well, remember when we first did our first rabbit hole, Yuma, watching that volcanoes pop off down here in Mexico and the southern Cal, somewhere down here, says they can see it from Fort Yuma, the volcano popping off into the sky. So, and the Indians all said, well, when it floods over there, that's what happens. So it's rhyolite. Whatever they were watching, it was rhyolite booming off. Yeah, there is some volcanics offshore California too. Is that the island? Here, let me see. Yeah, Santa Cruz Island.
Yeah.
Volcanic. And here's another one.
Yeah, because they're all connected to those same northwest to southeast and east-west faults, if you read about them.
Yeah.
So it's wild stuff.
Well, I think we could we can keep going for another 6 hours on this, but
well, wait till we do San Jacinto. That'll take us 2 hours easy.
Yeah. Well, this one already took 2 hours. Can you believe we're already 2 hours in?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Because now we just did the top ones of LA Basin, basically.
Right. And we saw what we did in recap. We showed evidence of a series of quakes just this year pop off in Malibu, pop off out in Ontario. From February, it happened, and again, it happened just now. That to me is pretty darn interesting. And then there's some fill-in as well in the middle of that happened in what was this? In August, there was a 4-4 in the middle along that east-west trend. Crossing over several other faults,
Right.
And leading into a 4.2 in San Bernardino in January, right? And in September there was 3rd. So this 4.2 in January was led again from Ontario out to Malibu, and then again Ontario out to Malibu. And there's a 3.3 in May in Malibu itself. So there's something from San Bernardino all the way out to Malibu, all these faults. How are they active? How come they're active? And the only one that's crossing it, I don't know what crosses from Alhambra to Fullerton. And let me see. Is that the Whittier? Montclair, Almani. Might have been. Alhambra. That's West LA to Fullerton. All right. Fullerton's over here. Well, El Medina Fault, Norwalk Fault. So, what did you hear about El Medina Fault in the Norwalk Fault? I think you mentioned it. The
Norwalk, I've read some about. Not the
is
other
right
one.
through Downey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another splay. A northwest to southeast fault. That Aliso Fault. It looks like it. Teneja Fault. Cristiano's Fault. So yeah, I think that area. So between the Whittier Fault, which hits the Raymond, the Newport Fault, which hits the Santa Monica, Hollywood is in between them. There's another fault that was activated right through Los Angeles. It wasn't a big quake, but it was a 4.4 August 12th of 24. So, and then you have the Fullerton. It was a 3.3 that happened late last year. And in June, we had a couple in Costa Mesa, and in Huntington Beach, we had a late last one, 3.4 as well. So the northwest to southeast faults are active. The east or the west to east faults are active. The Channel Islands, San Pedro, may be active. We're seeing some stuff out there. The Malibu.
Yeah, San Pedro connects to San Diego Trough.
Yeah.
And Agua Blanco in the new things, and they said it can go.
Coronado Bank.
Coronado Bank is the one that connects to Palo Verdes and Agua Blanco too, because there's two that come in right into Agua Blanco in Baja.
Right.
And so the new things on San Pedro Basin, San Diego Trough, and Agua Blanco says it can go 7.9.
Yeah.
So that's not good.
No.
Because that's the next one out from Palos Verdes. And those quakes, the 3 and 2 or 3 and 2.6 or whatever it was, those are on San Pedro Basin that were the same day the fire started there. When we were looking at that line. Yeah, those 3, I think it was a 3 and like a 2.6 or something like that. They were actually on San Pedro Basin fault.
Shit, howdy.
Yeah, and when I looked up the Oceanside quake, I thought it was closer to shore, which it wasn't. In '86, it was on San Diego Trough fault.
Well, 23, we had these two.
So it was 5 point whatever it was.
Up Santa Cruz Channel. Out here. All right. Out here. So a couple of quakes out, way out, past the Santa Cruz Islands. The unnamed faults, of course.
Yeah.
I don't think garlic is the one that we should be afraid of. It will go, but I don't think that. I think that one is it's the east-west, but Los Angeles has east-west as well. And Orange County has east-west. Riverside County has east-west. San Bernardino, east-west. I'm not sure about San Diego and how it works. It seems more on a northwest to southeast trend. I don't know. Even north to south trend in San Diego. We'll need to do that as well.
Yeah, well, next one I'm gonna do San Jacinto.
Yeah,
and then we'll probably do like Elsinore and Laguna Salada because they're together.
Laguna Salada, yeah, they're together, yes, sir.
And then next one would be Newport, Inglewood, Rose Canyon,
Rose Canyon. Yeah.
and Miguel, San Miguel Vallecillos.
Right.
What the other one is. They just
Right.
found out that it's connected to Rose Canyon, so now they got to make it longer, since they don't respect the border, and it goes right under Tijuana too. So San Miguel Vallecillos fault, and it's where all the quakes have been happening down there now for 2 years. It's all on that same one, coming right up under Tijuana and San Diego.
Yep.
Coming right up. So it's all very exciting. So now they're going to have to redo all that again because they think Rose Canyon, Newport, Inglewood could only do like 7.5 now. But if it's however many kilometers longer, because that one in the San Miguel
Cantilever, yeah,
is super long. It goes to Central Baja, like right down the middle.
right. And the longer the quake, the larger. I mean, the longer the fault, the larger the quake. Yeah, that's not coming in, so I'll wait for it.
So what I'm trying to do is figure out where the next 7 is going to be, but it's still in process.
Yeah, right.
Because you need other things too. You need big quakes in South America, and
The bentonite clay has volcanic ash properties.
Central America coming up
Interesting.
to add to it.
Bentonite clay contains natural metals such as calcium, magnesium, and iron, which may provide additional benefits. Bentonite clay forms from volcanic ash. It gets more name from Fort Benton, Wyoming. All right, so it could be a pyroclastic flow of ash that's mixed in the water. So,
Well, it landed on top of the island
yeah.
when it was an island for whatever. I don't know which volcano it was coming from.
Bentonite is a material derived from alteration over geologic time periods, a glassy material emitted from volcanics, tuff or ash, or from alteration of silica-bearing rocks such as granite and basalt. Bentonite only forms in the presence of water. That's what I thought too.
So whatever is thrusting underneath, it's not bentonite. Bentonite is just the crap stuff on top that's landsliding.
Yeah. I'm going through and Lavic Lake. Yeah, I know Lavic Lake. The sediment, it's built on I'm not about coastal range. I mean, you think about how the weather. I mean, I can understand if there was a Santa Ana wind, it might blow it that way. But generally speaking, it would blow it east. So maybe another volcanic eruption that took place.
Well, yeah, but see, any of those things could have been volcanoes.
Well, I agree with you, bud. I agree with
40,
you.
50 million years ago. I don't know, right? Because if Nenoch was out there, well, that was a big volcano at Garlock, where Garlock intersection is with San Andreas now. But if all that stuff was volcanoes out there, like if there's volcanic rock all the way through all those mountains coming across, were they all blowing up back then too? Because see, somehow it got rotated too, because it was all north-south originally. They said.
I see garlic more as a tooth in a jack. So if you're jacking up a car, garlic is a tooth that stops it from going back south. So you crank it up, it gets locked. Cranks it up, it gets locked. That's how I see garlic. Now, what's happening north of garlic down that northern, you know how it's a V, right? A sideways V or what you call an echelon or whatever. That very point doesn't move, but everything north of it slides to the west, and everything south of it gets pushed out to the west as it comes up. So
Yeah, because right now they're only studying the western and central sections of Garlock. Because the east, the eastern section, they don't know. And
Right.
when you get out there far enough, where the eastern section goes to, it lines up directly with Las Vegas all the way across to Charleston.
Another liniment and another day, another discussion.
Yeah.
Well, we're 2 hours and change here. Man, this has gone fast. Tonight went super fast.
Yeah, but we did a lot of info just on.
Yeah, I think tonight was
Wolf.
solid info. Yeah, solid info. Do you have anything you want to add there, Clemmerdoodle? I know you mainly stayed silent, but
Well, wait till
No,
we
that's
do. Wait till we do San Jacinto, because that's
yeah, it's gonna be fun. I know.
it's
Since
just a lot of information to digest. You know.
Yeah. Since I've tracked all the historical ones going back to 1899 for San Jacinto. So
Yeah, San Jacinto's going to be a big one. Next Wednesday, San Jacinto, everybody. All right. And we'll probably touch other things too, but hey, primarily San Jacinto. We're trying to unlock what happens in Southern California and how it plays into the rest of the West Coast. All right. Canuck, thank you so much. Clem, thank you, buddy. Love you both. And for those people who are out there, I want to thank you for your tips and your subscriptions and your comments and your participation. I really appreciate it. Love y'all. Have a great night. And remember, don't get nothing on you.